shifting tactics in the UK probably suggests that we may see the same thing here in the United States in the days and weeks and months ahead.
Neil Livingstone, terrorism expert. Neil, as always, thank you very, very much. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we're going to have the very latest on today's successful terrorist attack. But it wasn't so successful as to kill or maim many people. This following yesterday's unsuccessful London double terror attempts. We'll be right back. A terror attack in Scotland today, 36 hours after police in London thwarted a double terror attempt there. Now, terrorism is striking Scotland for the first time in a long time. Police arresting two men in connection with a fiery car crash at Glasgow Airport that left thousands of people stranded. And according to witnesses, the suspects doused a Jeep in flames, drove at full speed ahead into the Terminal 1 at the airport, crashing through the glass gates and causing a massive explosion, flames, and thick black smoke. Both suspects inside that car have now been detained. One's being treated for severe burns. The second is in police custody. The incident being called a terror attack. Police in Scotland are directly linking it to the car bombing plot in London.
I can confirm that we believe the incident at Glasgow Airport is linked to the events in London yesterday. There are clearly similarities, and we can confirm that this is being treated as a terrorist incident.
Great British government has raised its terror alert level to the highest level, critical, meaning an attack is imminent. Greg Palcott is in London now with the latest on both stories. And Greg, I mean, how on edge are the people of London?
They are on edge, but they're a bit used to this. But certainly the authorities here are on high alert. I think we can say that without qualification. Let's go to that press conference that we just heard from the authorities in Scotland just about an hour ago. I think the two key points are these. Number one, direct linkage to the foiled car bomb attacks in London. Clearly similar. We all thought that perhaps it might be a copycat attack, but in fact there could be a network of operatives working. We could have a wave of attacks on our hands. Also, the other key point, the suspect device found on one of the two individuals responsible for the Glasgow attack. It could be a suicide bomb belt. We don't know what it is. We could be looking at a very, very serious minded people. The fact that there were flammable materials in the vehicle, and that in fact that vehicle is still unstable, also a real concern. The headline coming out of London in the past several hours, Greg, is that the threat level has in fact been raised to critical. That is the most serious terror threat level that the UK government can come up with, and that translates into the prediction that there could very well be another terror attack, that a terror attack is imminent. The information we're getting from the group of authorities who were coming up with that threat is that they don't have specific information about a specific attack, but they are on alert, and we're already getting information of a heightened security presence at airports throughout the city and throughout the country, in fact, and at other places where there are groups of people gathering. Gordon Brown, the new UK Prime Minister, coming out tonight too. He's being tested on his job for sure. This is a trial by fire. He said that the UK people need to be resolute and strong. And meanwhile, the probe here continues into the foiled car bomb attacks. Investigators going through CCTV surveillance television video, going through forensic evidence, going through witness statements, and now they're going through information relating to another attack outside of London that could be all a part of a big plan, Greg.
You know, Greg, the new PM is in fact so new on the job, Gordon Brown. He probably scarcely knows where to hang his hat at 10 Downing Street. What's he been doing over the last 2 days with these two separate attacks that are now linked?
Yeah, in fact, he has been mobilizing his own new government. He was named himself in midweek, and then 1 day later he named his cabinet. They have a thing called the Cobra Group. This is their Emergency Action Response Committee, which includes himself, other key ministers, Home Office, Defense, other important law enforcement authorities. They have met 3 times in the last 2 days, and they have been strategizing here. It's a good thing, Greg, that Gordon Brown has been around. Of course, he was sort of the right-hand man for Tony Blair through the last 10 years, so he has seen a lot of this, and he has had up-close and personal experience with the various terror threats that the UK has been dealing with, and terror attacks. Just 2 years ago, 1 week from now, the 7/7 attacks, which left 52 people dead, targets of al-Qaeda-linked terrorists on the mass transit system here, Greg.
And transportation seems to be a theme today at the Glasgow International Airport. An attack, of course, the infamous 7/7/05 attacks. More than 50 people died in the London subways and buses that were attacked by terrorists. And then, of course, last summer, late in the summer, the foiled plot that involved London Airlines that were going to be flying across the pond to the United States. Those were supposed to be downed. So has that deterred at all Londoners from using public transportation in the last 36 hours or so?
Well, no. I mean, they have been out and they've been using it. I think what's going to be a little bit deterring is the security that's going to be slapped onto these airports in very short order. And we saw that in the wake of last August foiled attacks to blow up planes. But I think a key point here to make, Greg, is this. People were surprised here. The authorities were surprised that Scotland, that a relatively small airport, Glasgow, would be the target. They all think Heathrow is the target, one of the largest airports in the world, huge airport. Now the thinking is anything is possible. And we saw a report just about an hour and a half ago that the airport in Liverpool, a very, very small airport, has been closed down completely. We don't know exactly what was the reason behind that. But basically what we're seeing is the terrorists the would-be terrorists are looking for any kind of weak point in the chain of defense of the UK authorities, and they might have found a weak point today, Greg.
A weak point. I want to play off of that in just a moment. Greg Palcott live in London. Thanks very much.